What happens when one of Hollywood's biggest stars walks into what should be a light-hearted daytime talk show, only to find himself caught in a confrontation no one saw coming? What began as a routine promotional interview quickly turned into a tense, uncomfortable showdown that left the studio stunned and ultimately required security intervention. Today, we're unpacking the explosive moment between Tom Cruise and Joy Behar, a clash that crossed professional boundaries and revealed how personal agendas can derail even the most controlled television setting. The cameras were rolling as Whoopi Goldberg opened the show. We're here with the one and only Tom Cruise, whose latest mission, Impossible film, is smashing box office records around the world. Tom, thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you for having me. Tom replied warmly, flashing his trademark enthusiasm. I'm incredibly excited to share this film. We pushed ourselves to the absolute limit, and I think audiences are really going to feel that. Sarah Haynes leaned forward eagerly. Tom, we have to ask, were you actually riding that motorcycle off the cliff in the trailer? Absolutely, Tom said, his eyes lighting up. We spent months preparing. The safety measures were extensive, but there's nothing like doing a stunt for real. When audiences see that moment, they're watching something authentic, something that demanded total focus and trust from the entire team. Anna Navarro jumped in. That kind of dedication is incredible. How do you stay so fearless and physically fit at this stage of your career? Tom laughed. Well, thanks for the reminder, he joked. But honestly, it's passion. When you love what you do and care deeply about delivering something meaningful, age stops mattering. And how do your co-stars react when they watch you do these stunts? Sarah asked. They think I'm insane, Tom grinned. But they also understand why I do it. When the danger is real, the emotion is real, and that truth comes through on screen. Whoopi nodded approvingly. It certainly does. The chemistry in these films is undeniable. Then the tone shifted. Joy Behar cleared her throat, cutting sharply into the moment. That's all very interesting, Tom, she said coolly. But I think our audience might be more interested in discussing some of your beliefs, specifically your involvement with Scientology. Tom's smile faded. I'm sorry, what exactly do you mean? Well, Joy continued, pressing forward, your association with Scientology has been controversial for years. Don't you think viewers deserve answers about the criticism and allegations surrounding that organization? The studio fell silent. Joy, Tom said calmly, I'm here to talk about my work and my film. My personal beliefs are private. But when you're a public figure with enormous influence, Joy shot back, leaning in, don't those beliefs become a matter of public concern, especially when there are accusations of harassment and abuse? Those claims are unsubstantiated. Tom replied firmly. I've never been involved in anything like what you're suggesting, and I don't believe this platform should be used to spread misinformation. Whoopi tried to step in. Maybe we should steer this back to the movie. No, Joy interrupted. Tom, you've used your fame to promote these ideas. You've criticized psychiatry. You've made statements about postpartum depression that medical professionals found dangerous. Don't you feel responsible for the impact of your words? Tom's jaw tightened. Joy, you're misrepresenting everything I've ever said. I've never told anyone to avoid medical care, and I've never encouraged harmful behavior. What I've done? Tom said firmly, share my own experiences and beliefs, something I'm entitled to do as an individual. Your experiences, Joy echoed with open mockery. Including jumping on Oprah's couch like a maniac while professing your love. Including the bizarre behavior we've seen during your press tours over the years. Don't you think the public has a right to question the judgment of someone who behaves so erratically? Tom's expression hardened. Excuse me. Are you seriously calling me a maniac on national television? Joy shrugged, a smirk creeping across her face. If the shoe fits. Joy, that's enough. Whoopi cut in sharply. But Joy pushed on. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. Here we have someone who presents himself as a serious, disciplined actor, yet his personal life reads like a tabloid circus. Multiple divorces, estrangement from his children. And let's not forget the infamous couch jumping incident that had people questioning his mental stability. Tom stood abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. That is completely out of line. Is it? Joy fired back. You came on this show as a public figure. These are legitimate questions about your behavior, and about the organization you represent. I came here to promote my film, Tom said, his voice rising, not to be ambushed by someone with a personal agenda. Personal agenda. Joy laughed coldly. My agenda is asking the questions other interviewers are too afraid to ask. My agenda is holding celebrities accountable instead of handing them a platform to sell tickets. Accountable for what, exactly? Tom demanded. For working harder than anyone else in this industry. For doing my own stunts. For caring about my craft. For promoting a dangerous cult. Joy snapped. For using your fame to legitimize an organization accused of tearing families apart and silencing victims of abuse. The accusation hung in the air, heavy and poisonous. Tom's face flushed. You have no idea what you're talking about. Don't I? Joy leaned back smugly. I've done my research, I've spoken to former members. I've read the testimonies. And frankly, I find it disturbing that someone with your influence continues to defend the indefensible. You've spoken to disgruntled former members with axes to grind. Tom shot back. You've cherry-picked information to fit a narrative you decided on long before I sat down. That's exactly what someone who's been brainwashed would say, Joy replied, smiling cruelly. You can't even hear how you sound, defending an organization most people recognize as a cult. Brainwashed. Tom repeated, disbelief cracking through his voice. Are you listening to yourself? You invited me here under false pretenses just to attack my personal beliefs on live television. I invited you here for an honest conversation. Joy shot back. Something you're clearly incapable of having. Sarah Haynes tried to step in. Maybe we should take a commercial. No. Joy waved her off dismissively. Tom, answer me this. How do you justify staying silent while former members come forward with horrific accounts of abuse and intimidation? I don't stay silent, Tom said, his composure barely holding. But I will not validate lies and conspiracy theories on your show. Conspiracy theories? Joy's voice rose triumphantly. So the FBI investigations are conspiracy theories now? Joy pressed. The court cases are conspiracy theories. The documented evidence of harassment campaigns against critics. That's all just made up. You're twisting facts to fit your narrative, Tom said through clenched teeth. The same way you've twisted this entire interview. I'm asking legitimate questions, Joy snapped back. Questions any responsible journalist would ask. Responsible journalist. Tom let out a bitter laugh. Is that what you call this? Because from where I'm sitting, this looks like a hit job masquerading as journalism. Whoopi tried once more to regain control. Joy, maybe we should refocus on Tom's career. My career achievements? Joy turned to Whoopi with exaggerated surprise. You mean like when he went on the Today Show and called psychiatry a pseudoscience? Or when he suggested vitamins could treat depression? I never said vitamins cure depression, Tom shot back. That's a complete fabrication. Really? Joy said, theatrically flipping through her notes. Because I have the transcript right here. You said people should explore nutrition and exercise before turning to psychiatric medication. That is not the same thing, Tom replied sharply. You're deliberately misrepresenting my words. Am I? Joy smiled predatorily. Or are you just uncomfortable being confronted with them? Anna Navarro shifted uneasily. Joy, I think Tom has a point about context. Context? Joy snapped, turning on Anna. The context is that this man used his celebrity platform to discourage people from seeking legitimate medical treatment for serious mental health conditions. That is not what I did, Tom said, his voice rising. I shared my personal experience and encouraged people to educate themselves. Your personal experience with what? Joy demanded. Being a spokesperson for an organization that forbids psychiatric medication. That's not true either, Tom said, his face reddening. You're repeating propaganda. Propaganda? Joy laughed harshly. Tom, do you or do you not believe psychiatry is harmful? I believe people should have access to information so they can make informed decisions about their health. Tom replied carefully. That's not what I asked. Joy pressed. Do you believe psychiatry is harmful? Yes or no? It's not a yes or no question, Tom said, frustration evident. It absolutely is, Joy shot back. Either psychiatry helps people or it hurts them. Which is it? Like any field, Tom said, there are good practitioners and bad ones. People should research their options and decide what's best for them. So when someone is suicidal, Joy said with dripping sarcasm, they should research their options instead of seeing a psychiatrist. When someone is severely depressed, they should just read pamphlets. That's not what I said, and you know it, Tom snapped. Then what are you saying? Joy demanded. Because it sounds like you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. Sarah tried again to intervene. Joy, I think we're getting off track. Are we? Joy turned to her. Because I think we're finally seeing who Tom Cruise really is, not the movie star persona, not the carefully managed image, but the real person behind the PR. Tom stood up once more, his patience finally gone. You want to know who the real person is? The real person is someone who works 18-hour days to entertain people. Someone who has devoted his life to his craft and to making the best films possible. The real person, Joy shot back. Someone who can't answer a simple question about whether psychiatry is legitimate medicine, because it's a loaded question. Tom fired back. No matter how I answer, you'll twist it to fit the narrative you walked in here with. Or maybe, Joy said, smirking knowingly, you can't answer because you know your beliefs are indefensible. My beliefs are my business, Tom said firmly. Not when you use your platform to influence millions. Joy shot back. Not when you go on talk shows and spread dangerous misinformation about mental health. I have never spread misinformation, Tom said, his voice steady. But you certainly are right now, Joy countered. Really? She flourished another sheet of paper. What about when you said there was no such thing as a chemical imbalance in the brain? What about when you called psychiatry a Nazi science? I never called it a Nazi science, Tom said, his voice low and dangerous. Didn't you? Joy's eyes gleamed. Because I have multiple sources saying otherwise. Your sources are lying, Tom said flatly. So now everyone who criticizes you is lying, Joy pressed. Your ex-wives, who spoke about how your beliefs affected your marriages. They're lying. Former members of your organization, who described harassment and intimidation, they're all lying. You're bringing my ex-wives into this now. Tom's voice cracked with incredulity. What kind of interview is this? It's the kind where we ask the hard questions, Joy said smugly. The kind where we don't let celebrities just promote their movies without examining who they really are. Ooh, I really am, Tom said, shaking with anger. Someone who didn't sign up to be personally attacked on live television. Then maybe you should have thought of that before becoming a spokesperson for a cult. Joy fired back, the word detonating across the studio. Even her co-hosts looked stunned. That's it, Tom said, his voice deadly quiet. I'm done with this circus. Oh, you're done? Joy's voice mocked him. You can't handle a few tough questions, so you storm off like a child. Tough questions. Tom stepped forward, his famous smile gone. This isn't tough questions, it's character assassination. And you call it journalism. But I guess when you're used to everyone kissing your feet. Joy shot back. Real accountability feels like an attack. Accountability. Tom's voice rose. For what? For working harder than anyone in this industry, entertaining millions, using your influence to promote dangerous ideologies. Joy replied instantly. For putting your cult above your own family. She added sharply. Don't you dare bring my family into this. Tom warned. Why not? Joy leaned in. It's public record that your beliefs have cost you relationships with your children. Doesn't that say something about your priorities? My relationship with my children is none of your business, Tom said through clenched teeth. It is when you're a public figure whose actions affect others, Joy retorted. How many other parents have lost their children following your example? That's enough! Tom slammed his hand on the table. Everyone jumped. You have no right to talk about my family, he seethed. I have every right, Joy shot back. You came on this show, you made yourself a public figure. Everything is fair game. Whoopi finally stood. Joy, that's enough. No, it's not enough. Joy snapped. This man has spent decades using his fame to recruit people into a dangerous organization. And we're supposed to just let him sit here and promote his movie like nothing happened? Like nothing happened. Tom's voice cracked with rage. What exactly happened? What crime have I committed other than believing in something you disagree with? The crime of using your platform irresponsibly, Joy said coldly. The crime of putting vulnerable people at risk with your anti-psychiatry rhetoric. I have never put anyone at risk. Tom's voice shook with fury. But you're putting people at risk right now by spreading lies and hatred. Joy shot back. Lies. Tom's voice rose. What lies have I told? Every single thing you've said since this ambush started, Joy spat. You've twisted my words, made false accusations. Attacked my personal life, Tom countered. I've asked legitimate questions about your public statements and associations, Joy insisted. If you can't handle that, Tom said, ripping off his microphone, maybe you shouldn't be doing interviews. Maybe I shouldn't subject myself to tabloid journalism disguised as television. Tabloid journalism, Joy shrieked. I'm asking about documented facts. Documented lies, Tom corrected. Spread by people with vendettas and amplified by hosts with personal agendas. Joy now stood. My agenda is protecting the public from dangerous influences like you. Dangerous influences. Tom laughed bitterly. I make movies. I entertain people. You spread hatred and division on national television. I expose the truth, Joy said. Something you're clearly allergic to, the truth. Tom's voice was incredulous. You wouldn't recognize the truth if it hit you in the face. Her truth is, Joy said, her satisfaction palpable. You're a spokesperson for a cult that destroys families. And the truth is, Tom fired back without hesitation, you're a bitter, small-minded person who ambushes guests to make herself feel important. The studio went completely silent. Even Joy looked stunned. Sarah Haynes whispered, Oh my God. But Tom wasn't finished. You want to talk about destroying families? Tom's voice was low, controlled, and lethal. What about the damage you've done today? The lies you've spread to millions of viewers. I haven't told a single lie, Joy said, though her earlier confidence faltered. Every word out of your mouth has been a lie. Tom advanced toward her chair. Starting with the lie that this was going to be a professional interview. Don't come any closer to me, Joy said suddenly uneasy. Or what? Tom's voice was dangerous. You'll call security. Have me arrested for defending myself against your attacks. Whoopi stepped between them. Tom, I think you should leave. I think you're right, Tom said, eyes still locked on Joy. But apparently, this show has become a platform for personal vendettas instead of legitimate journalism. Good. Joy found her voice again. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Tom turned to face her one last time. You know what the real tragedy is, Joy. You had a chance to have a real conversation with someone who's dedicated his life to his craft. Instead, you chose to be petty and vindictive. That says everything about who you are. And you choosing to defend a cult instead of addressing legitimate concerns. Joy shot back, says everything about who you are. The only cult I see here, Tom said deadly calm, is the cult of ignorance that you're leading. With that, he turned toward the exit. But Joy couldn't resist one final jab. Running away, Tom. Just like you always do when someone asks the hard questions. Tom stopped mid-step and slowly turned. Hard questions. You want a hard question, Joy? Here's one. How do you sleep at night knowing you use your position to attack and humiliate people for your own entertainment? I sleep fine, Joy said smugly. Because I know I'm doing the right thing. No, Tom said quietly. You're doing the easy thing. It's easy to tear people down, to attack, to mock, to spread hatred. What's hard is building something, creating something, contributing something positive to the world. But you wouldn't know anything about that, would you? Security, Joy called out loudly. I think our guest needs to leave. I'm already leaving, Tom said as uniformed guards appeared at the edge of the set. But not because you're throwing me out. I refuse to be part of whatever this pathetic display was supposed to be. As Tom walked off, followed by the uneasy security guards, Joy turned to the camera with a satisfied expression. Well, I think that tells you everything you need to know about Tom Cruise's character. Her co-hosts were less impressed. Whoopi shook her head. Joy, that was completely inappropriate. Inappropriate. Joy's voice became defensive. I asked the questions that needed to be asked. You ambushed a guest, Sarah said quietly. That wasn't journalism. That was accountability, Joy insisted. But the confidence in her voice was gone as she realized even her colleagues were horrified by what had just happened. And there you have it, one of the most explosive confrontations in daytime television history. A stark reminder that when personal agendas override professional standards, everyone loses. Subscribe for more jaw dropping stories like this, and let me know what you think in the comments.